Our citizens are still traveling long distances to get to, to access courts. For example, in Zambezi region, the court is in Katima-Mulilo, yet Kongola is 120 kilometers from the court. The same thing happens at Sangwali, in the same region, 140 kilometers from the nearest court. There are not even periodic courts there.
The ministry must just continue with the advocacy, the education of the community courts, and the support thereof. I've seen the ED here, so we walked a journey in the previous term. The only headache is the backlog in cases with the mainstream courts. Honorable Minister, you will not go wrong if you find the reports and the recommendations tabled by the Committee of Constitutional Legal Affairs of the 7th Parliament.
MPs highlighted other structural gaps such as administrative inefficiencies, the underrepresentation of young black Namibian lawyers in judicial roles, and the need to strengthen restorative justice mechanisms.
The Constitution guarantees every citizen the right to fair trial, legal representation, and equal protection under the law. But yet, for many Namibians, especially the less privileged and marginalized, these rights, they often remain unattainable due to financial constraints. Honorable Minister, it's not uncommon to state that the cost of litigation in Namibia, it's equivalent to purchasing a new vehicle.
There's still a lot of bottlenecks and there's still a lot of gatekeeping. Young black lawyers are struggling to become conveyors. They're struggling to become liquidators. We need to find an opportunity truly to come up with a program to empower young black lawyers to overtake some of these sections of the law so we can have the necessary professionals and not depend, and I'm sorry, not depend on one race when there are young, brilliant black lawyers, men and women who can take up those particular branches of the law.
So you don't just take a person to jail. The family of that person would have to take responsibility. There would be a certain amount of cows that are supposed to be given to the family for restorative justice. So in other words, you ought to position the family where it was before that crime occurred. Yeah? So is this law reform really just doing research for its sake? Is this law reform also doing research on restorative justice vis-a-vis this Roman Dutch law thing that we have?
Justice Minister responded that the ministry is working actively to address these concerns in the 2025-2026 fiscal year.
Law reform, insofar as it appeared to be lacking African jurisprudence. I agree with you 100% that the practice and the business processes and the ideological orientations of the law reform somehow need to be anchored in the African jurisprudence so that it speaks to the reality that we face on a daily basis. The issues of students, again, repeating module year after year and all that, all those issues are speaking to administrative processes, and part of our one of our strategic pillar is really to see how to bring about, the operational efficiency in those aspects.
Yolani Shapela, NBC News, Windhoek.